Hey, we're back. It's Fernando, and we got a nice little guest with us.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Givel Nunez. Nice to meet you.
Okay. So to get this started with, new guest. Real quick, you already went over your name, what school you go to, what's kind of your hobbies. Tell us a little about yourself.
So, as I said before earlier, my name is Givel Nunez, and I'm coming from a school out in Vermont State University, located at the Randolph Center campus.
Hey.
And, yeah, thank you.
Hey.
And so I'm a basketball player, track athlete as well. I'm really just an athlete that just loves to be genuine on my faith and walk with Christ, and I love making music, so that's like a little bit about me.
Making music? What kind of music you be making, buddy? What kind of music?
I make Christian rap.
Hey,
from like Christian rap to a little bit of like gospel, or I'm trying to learn how to sing, get a little bit better using my voice.
There we go. All right, so we got a pro in this whole podcasting thing. I see. So you're not scared of the mic?
No, of course not.
That's what I love to hear. All right, so
dog.
What's it called? We're here today to talk about tobacco and nicotine use. Not just use within adults, not use within the older generations, but use within our youth today.
Okay.
So real quick, how old are you? Real quick.
I'm 22.
22. All right. So you can legally buy tobacco products, nicotine products.
Yes,
However,
sir.
you went through it when it was on the rise. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You went through it when it was in your high schools, your middle schools. Like it was a new thing. It was a new thing.
Yeah, it was
right?
getting bad with the vapes.
So real quick, if you want to talk, just tell us real quick, how did it affect you growing up now?
Honestly, I wasn't too much into that. As a kid, I really didn't like hang around I hung around so many people. It was like so many groups of children and like teenagers, or however you want to say it. Like from the nerds to the, gangsters to the athletes to like the weirdos. Like I was like really that type of kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when I really understood like what like nicotine was and like what people were smoking, it was around, I want to say, college, honestly, like when I left school, because like people like kept that like hidden from me, other than like I want to say weed, and like when I first found out about nicotine, it was through cigars, because like people like to roll like spliffs,
Yep.
and blunts, and so like weed was like first introduced to me, I want to say like junior year of high school, and so like when I found out people were using like cigars to roll up blunts for their weed, I was like, yo, this is killing you, right? This is cancerous. Like, that's insane. Like, how are you going to, like, put this in your body, bro? It literally has, like, a warning label on it, and you guys are smoking it. So I was like, all right, fine. Have fun with your weed, bro, and a little bit of nicotine.
So then my question is, what year of high school, junior year, what year was that?
I want to say 2019.
2019, okay.
2020.
So from what I've learned and from my research, that's when the vape was really starting to blow up. The creations of craves, vapes, all these flavored nicotines.
Right.
That's when the rise was really starting to happen. So you got to experience it through your high school career, high school years, and then into college. You said it was the worst, right?
Yeah, high school was crazy because like that's when I got introduced to like Zins. Me personally,
Zins,
I wasn't taking them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I knew like it's Vermont. It's not too like city, it's more like rural, right? Mellow, and like people out there like either like fishing with Zins in their mouth or like camping with like cigarettes. So
all right, this is good then. So we have we have both perspectives. We have a perspective from New Bedford,
yeah,
and then we have a perspective from Vermont.
Yes, sir.
So my question is then, how long have you been in New Bedford? For your entire life?
Yeah, damn near, honestly. Excuse my language.
So then, you're solid. You're solid. So then my question is, jumping from that, I know you just said it's a rural area. People are fishing with Zins in their mouth. They're doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
But what really is that change? What is that difference that you can see from one state to another? I mean, in Vermont, they're allowed flavored,
right,
all that stuff. They're allowed that. So my question is, in Massachusetts, we obviously don't allow flavored vapes, those different kind of colors to combat all that. What is that really driving difference? Why is it more active here than it would be in Vermont, where they have more access to it?
All right. Honestly, I wouldn't say that it's more like available or accessible in Vermont per se, right? I want to say that both areas that I've been to use it the same, like use it at the same amount. It's just Vermont is more like they're more secluded, so it's like it's real boring there. So they really have like nothing to do but like indulge themselves in like products that like, make you feel some type of way, like, get that high, that buzz, that feeling, that good feeling. So I want to say it was worse in Vermont than here in, Massachusetts or New Bedford, because like people have outlets, people are like people have aspirations. People want to do things with their lives. They want to be basketball players. They want to go play baseball. Like we have athletes. We have people that don't want to ruin their voice. We have singers. We have artists, and like I'm not saying that Vermont doesn't have the same thing. It's just people have more of an outlet here, which allows them to not join or do whatever they see other people doing, which is, nicotine and tobacco.
You saying that, now I guess I'll bring you into it. Have you ever heard of the 84 movement, the 84 chapter? Have you ever heard of that?
No, not at all.
So the 84 is about, at the time, the reason it's called the 84 chapter is because at that time, 84% of Massachusetts youth was not using tobacco products, nicotine products, any stuff like that.
In 84, you said?
And so the 84, the name itself, it represents the 84% of youth when the organization was created that didn't use anything like that. They stuck away from that, and now that number is up to 97% of youth in Massachusetts that do not use nicotine and vaping products.
94%?
97.
97 don't use.
97%.
Wow, that's crazy, actually. That's actually insane.
And I was talking to my fellow peers yesterday, and we were like, well, is that 97% true?
Yeah.
But even then, at that point, that number is so high, that's success in its own.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about talking about exposure and stuff like that? If we're up to 97%, I know obviously you're a college student, you're a collegiate athlete, you're doing your things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You work here at the Andrew McCoy Rec Center. You obviously deal with youth every single day.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever dealt with youth walking in here thinking they can use all these products, these nicotine products, these tobacco products?
Nah, if anything, it's the older generation. So it's like, at first, when I heard 94%, I was like, that sounds insane. Like, there's no way, like, that's true. But, like, now that I'm looking back at, like, recent, experiences and, like, meeting or whatever, seeing other people use it, it's usually just, like, the older people,
Mm-hmm.
like I want to say like from 17 to above, and that's it.
Okay.
So
yeah. All right. So now I want to change the perspective to now from work perspective to an athlete perspective now.
Mm-hmm.
Now you obviously play sports, and yesterday we had a nice dude come in. He talked about how his experience as being an athlete kind of was ruined when he was into vaping products, stuff like that, and how he how he had to overwork that. So in your experience, I know you said you didn't use it, but what about other athletes you've played with or you've played against?
Okay.
Have you ever seen anybody kind of regret that kind of decision?
Yeah, honestly, I might have said I haven't like done anything like that, right? But definitely, I want to say like,
you tried it?
Yeah, I definitely tried it.
Okay.
Because like I was an avid, like, I don't know if I should say it like on stream, but I was like a user at one point, basically.
Yeah.
So like, because after high school, I gave up on my dreams of like becoming a basketball player or whatever. Because I enjoyed life too much. I was partying, drinking, and like over time, like I got into tobacco products and marijuana. But over the years and like constant usage, I realized like the damage that it was truly doing to my body, and I had to quit. I had to continue with my aspirations that I dreamt about.
Yeah, there you go.
So
don't be scared to share something like that. This is an open thing. We're here to talk about why it's an issue.
Okay.
And I think coming from someone who has done the product, became a user, and kind of got out of it, I think your word's stronger than anybody else's that doesn't use it, or maybe like that, or they're trying to stop it. It's stronger if someone that didn't use it. I mean, sorry, it's stronger if someone who did use it is talking out on it instead of someone who hasn't used it yet.
Right.
And so I think having you here today talking about this is super strong in itself. You're doing your thing right now.
Thank you,
I honestly,
you.
Hey, get that pause back.
Let's go.
I respect it. I respect the change and that you're willing to own up to it. That's accountability that people need to have. Whether it's youth, whether it's people growing out of that, it's accountability is one of the highest things you can hold yourself to. So I respect that a lot, and I think you telling us about the regrets about it, like, yeah, you gave up on the dream, but hey, aren't you a basketball player right now?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
I'm back in it.
Your dream's coming back to you after all that stuff. So I'm not saying quitting tobacco saved the dream, but hey, I got you there. That's putting something behind you now.
Right.
I think you can use that to fill yourself up. All right, that's something good. So since we're both youth here, let's really talk about it. Social media, man. Let's get into the social media part of it. Have you seen any crazy ads like that? Any crazy vaping ads, smoking ads? Have you seen any like that on
Yeah,
TikTok,
honestly,
Instagram?
all the time. I just forget the name because like I wasn't too much like attentive to it because it's like, oh wow, another like smoke not stop smoking video or stops vaping ad. I was like, all right, cool, all right. Like I really didn't pay no mind to it.
Growing up, I always got hit with the real cost ads, the ones that were like all about cigarettes, and now they're all about vaping.
Yeah,
And it's like you get two different kind of perspectives from it, in my opinion. I don't like tobacco ads or vaping ads that tell you to stop for one reason only, and is that aspect of people who haven't done it, they might get intrigued to now do it because the normal human reaction, they tell you not to do something at my age and kids younger than me that I see, you tell them not to do something, they're most likely gonna do it.
right.
So that's where my dislike comes in. I like the awareness spread. I like the fact that we're trying to get this out there. It's awareness. And people need to know about this kind of stuff. But I think it also comes with a massive negative, as if you tell someone not to do something, they're most likely going to do it. Or if they want to fit in, they'll try to do something like that too, just kind of fit in, kind of get that higher status.
Right.
So that's why I don't like the social media approach. I think it's good to speak out against it. I don't think it's good to tell people to stop. And that's what I like about the 84 too. They're not telling you to stop. They're going to give you reasons why they think you should stop. They'll tell you the reasons why it's going to harm your body, like you said earlier, why it's going to do stuff to you mentally, emotionally, physically. And that's what I like a lot about it. It's telling you why, it's giving you reasons not to do it, not just telling you don't do it because it's bad. That's not, in my opinion, that's not a strong approach.
All right, but in all honesty, I feel like these ads are also doing the same thing, right? To like a degree, and it's like it's not just the ads, right? It's everything that's being thrown in like these children's lives, you know, from schooling, health classes, right? Because like in health class, that's when I really learned like the dangers of like cigarettes and what it's like, what it's doing to my body, you know. So having that knowledge and background, like maybe like I don't want to say have that conversation earlier, right, with the children, but eventually they will get that message like, hey, this is dangerous, it's killing you, and you shouldn't do it. And with these ads being, you know, advertised to these children, I feel like it should all just come together and wrap their like tiny brains around like the concept of, hey, you're gonna die if you keep doing this.
Right,
No matter if you start, no matter if you like. No. I apologize. Yeah, when you start, or even if you like from secondhand smoking. So like, you don't even have to start. You know what I'm saying? Like even the dangers of secondhand smoke from nicotine and like cigarettes can like damage you. So
For sure, yeah.
it all comes together.
Because even then, growing up, it's the environment you're in. It's your family.
Yeah.
People smoking in your family, it might get you started. It's the people you hang out with personally. That's what's gonna fuel your emotion. You can tell who someone kind of is before you get to know them by the people they hang themselves around, the people they want to be around, the people who makes them feel good. That's who you can kind of tell. So it's a leeching effect, in my opinion. It's kind of like one person doing that. You're here. You saw this growing up. Now it's kind of your thing.
Correct.
And I like that you said you start young. It's for sure start young. I teach down at Winslow Elementary School, and I don't want any of them kids doing it. I had there was an issue, I guess, with like a fourth grader doing it, and that's fourth grade. That's what 9, 10 years old, but like ridiculous. And the age to obtain a nicotine tobacco product is 21. That kid is what 11 years, 12 years off from even being able to obtain it. So now it's like the issue is
people around them.
How are they getting it, and who is kind of leading that inspiration for them to do it? Obviously, it's not inspiration, but to some kids it could be. It could be a way out. It could be the way they cope with things, but that's not the most appropriate use.
Right, and from what I've seen, right, it's literally like just older kids or like teenagers are like, hey, you're my little bro, come try this.
Right? Yeah.
Come do this. You want like come here. Like sometimes they genuinely just don't even know. It's like wow.
Don't meet your role models. Don't meet your role models, man. Sometimes it is your role model doing it.
IQ.
Influence on social media are even worse. It's even worse if what's it called? If I see my favorite YouTuber, favorite TikToker, they're out here doing this and they're kind of promoting that whole aspect of it.
Smoke coming out his mouth. It's
yeah.
like, ooh.
Like, oh wow, I want to try that too. Why not? So I don't know. The social media approach, it's like a double-edged sword, in my opinion. You can get the good, but you can also get the bad.
Correct.
Influencers, I don't think they understand how much power they really hold over their audiences, over how much people are watching them. You can have 100,000. That's 100,000 people changing their ways or changing ideas.
And when they do know, it's even more. It's more accountability on their part.
So
a lot more.
I think doing stuff like this, a podcast, is beautiful because it gets out to people who listen. It doesn't have to reach 100,000 people for it to touch the hearts of one. Better change one than nobody. So for this podcast, it doesn't bother me personally if we're not getting millions of listeners, millions of viewers. But I think just being able to change one person and that one person making a difference in their life, that's a life saved rather than a life that got destroyed because they wanted to go down the wrong path.
Right.
So I think what we're doing here is pretty strong. You have anything else you want to say before we're reaching the half mark right here?
Half mark. No, honestly, this is great. It's fun being behind the mic.
We'll be coming back to you. We're gonna take a quick little break, maybe some commercials. We don't know yet. Actually, no, we do know. We're gonna do some commercials. We're gonna do some tough commercials, but we will see you guys. And that was us. Hey, we're back. Quick little commercial break, but we are back. This is Fernando, and we have Givel here today.
Howdy.
Hey, how we doing?
What's going on?
We had talked about our personal lives, how it kind of affects us, how I kind of affected you too at the college level. Even then, not even being, you can buy your own tobacco products and how it affects you even there.
Yeah.
With your peers and stuff like that. We talked about the social media use, ads, influencers, stuff like that. I think since you got your personal story out the way, I guess I'll get mine out the way. Personally speaking, I work with the FDA and the City of Bedford's public health department to do undercover tobacco buys. Meaning, so I'm only 17, right? You know, you're 22, I'm 17. I can't legally buy these products yet. I'm a senior at New Bedford High School. And so what I do for my job is I'll go undercover into some of these stores and I'll try to buy tobacco products, nicotine products, anything I can possibly get my hands on. Craves, Zins, Games, Marlboros, anything I can, Backwoods. And I'll go into stores and try to get buys as an undercover agent. And so the whole premise of the job is to make sure that these stores are still carding people. They're still making sure people are of age to buy these products, even though it is bad for you. You can't tell a 21-year-old who is of legal age they can't buy it, but making sure people are of age to at least buy the product itself, and they're not selling to you with the intent of being on purpose or any malicious intent. So I've gotten a couple of buys actually. Being a youth, all it takes is really a beard. I think the beard's kind of selling it, but even then, at that point, no, I'm sorry, that's just not acceptable. And I like what we do, and is accountability. I love that we brought up accountability first thing because it leads all back to that. Holding yourself accountable. Are you doing what is necessary? These tobacco products and these tobacco companies, they know what they're doing. I'm sorry, they know what they're doing. I know we're just talking about ads, but these colorful looking ads, that's not to please a 22-year-old, 17-year-old. That's pleasing other lower, less educated people. Unfortunately, our middle schoolers, our elementary schoolers, all those kids, they're getting hit by this for no reason. And I think what we're doing is just trying to get that basic awareness. That's strong on its own. So I like my job. I love my job. Right. And it's one time I walked into a store and I went to go buy a pack of Backwoods sweets. She sold me the sweets. And then as I'm leaving, she asked me, how old I was. Yeah. So at that time I was 16. So like a year ago. I was 16. I had a nice looking beard, trust. And what's it called? She asked me how old I was. I said 16. She had already given me, I had the product. I was about to leave the store. And she had asked me if I know what I'm doing with that. I was like, what do you mean? She proceeded to almost open up the packaging. Yeah. And was going to proceed to show me how to roll and do all that stuff.
That's interesting. So she knew that you wanted it for weed. You wasn't going to smoke.
She knew I was underage. She didn't ID me. And she still sold it to me.
Right.
And then proceeded after to be some mentor sensei and start teaching me what I'm going to do with it.
Right. But it's crazy because, she taught you how to, roll with it. She, already assumed that she was already smoking weed. You know, it's crazy because, I know people that buy Backwoods and smoke the straight backwood, bro, because it's a cigar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So I have a bunch of funny jobs of the story. I mean, oh, my God. I have a bunch of funny stories about the job. Yeah. But that I think that's one of my like craziest ones to tell, just because of how bizarre that is. Like you knew I was underage, you didn't ID me. It was like a half day of school, and then you proceed to teach me how to try to roll it.
Right.
Ridiculous to me. But this job has definitely opened up my eyes to kind of what kind of world I'm living in. You can live behind all of this where you're not into all the issues, but then you're leaving yourself, kind of short. I didn't even know majority of this even happening. I learned the effects of tobacco when I was 7. My mom and my dad, they learned they really drilled it into me, and they told me, don't even look at it, don't even touch it.
Yeah.
And especially growing up in a Spanish household, that kind of had me on lock, where my brothers and sisters weren't doing that, my cousins weren't doing that. Living in that kind of environment where they do care, and I'm not saying some parents don't care, some households don't care, but unfortunately, some households really don't show that emotion, show that care. So that's what some kids are falling into. And definitely pushing for some of these tobacco companies. They're pushing these minority groups. They're really pushing for these relatively low income neighborhoods. I mean, the Bedford isn't pushing out hundreds of $1,000s like that, like it's ease, unlike some of these higher populated areas like Boston, Rochester, all these nice looking neighborhoods, all these wealthy looking neighborhoods. We do go up there with my job. We go up there and we try to get these products, and they don't budge. They don't budge. You have no ID. You say, "Hey, I have no ID." They ask you for an ID. I don't have an ID on me. I'm so sorry. Nope. They walk you right to the door. You're gone. Leave, man. Get out, because they're not worried about that money aspect. But neighborhoods like New Bedford, they do need that money. They need that. They need that not only from these tobacco products funding them all this money to then sell the product and then get the money that way. But even then, I think itself, like, damn, like we're getting targeted just because we're low income or we don't have as much money to produce like everyone else does.
Right, that's interesting.
And that's issue 1 out of thousands. But that's what I think what we're doing here, and all these other 84 movements. This is what we're trying to do. We're bringing that issue. We're bringing all those number of issues down. Those thousands of issues, they got to go. Not like we're gonna stop all of them in one day, but it's a start. And that's the start everyone kind of needs to. If we want 99%, we want almost 100% of youth not doing it. That's the steps we have to take.
Understood.
So I guess now getting away from the tobacco companies, and my job at least of trying to get these buys undercover, some undercover agent, some James Bond stuff. Let's see. I mean, what else we really want to hit? I mean, they don't do stuff like that in Vermont. I'm not sure if you're even familiar with undercover buys like that or just that area alone. But
in Vermont, they're pretty strict as well. Like they don't. I remember like being 21 still and going to buy a little backwood for like me and my homies, and they were like, "Hey, are you 21?" And like maybe it's because I have a little baby face, who knows? Because I don't have a beard like you, my boy. But I was like, dang, like I still look kind of grown, Like I still know what my face looks like, lady. Like you're not gonna give me so. I can't tell if it was like racially profiling, like, or I was just being like, taking it personal, but they are pretty strict.
But I think
to make sure they get your ID.
I think having that strictness is what we need. I don't think a simple little "do you have your ID on you today" would hurt.
Right.
And I guess another story I'll tell is I went into a store. It was actually here in New Bedford itself, down in the South End, and I walked in. This older man was trying to buy alcohol, and he was trying to get a pack of cigarettes. And so when she asked for his ID, and he didn't have it, mind you, you could tell he's old. Like he's old. There's an old man right there, and he didn't show his ID, and she didn't sell it. And I'm like, that's what you need. Right. I'm sorry,
that's the law.
With all due respect, that's
really, even though
even though he did look that much older, he didn't have his ID to show, and she wasn't giving it.
So you want it to be like it has to be mandatory then, huh?
And even then, it is mandatory too. And so I think people that actually care about the extra step, like honestly, after that, I respected that. I respected that so much more. Obviously, I didn't get the buy, but I respected that out of just the fact that not only does she care enough, that worker cared enough to not do it and followed her job like that. We need people who actually care about what they're doing, the consequence of selling that to another youth. Because now I'm thinking about it. What if she didn't ask for the ID? Now is she doing it for other people, or just people that look a little bit older? Because then people like me and more ethnic people, even people that look older than me and younger, that's easy buy right there. That's an easy outlet, or as we used to say now, plugs. That's easy right there.
Thank you for educating me on that because I genuinely did not know that it was mandatory no matter what the age was.
No matter what, you need an ID to buy these products. Now, some people will just let it fly because they know they look older.
Yeah.
But now that's an issue because now I walk in there, full mustache, full beard, a little hair grown out. I'm a little bit taller too. So, what, you're gonna sell it to me now because I look older? Like,
yeah,
I'm 17. Like, I shouldn't even be thinking about. First off, I shouldn't even be thinking about it. But two, now you're kind of just it's just disappointing if we're gonna say that.
Most definitely.
But we do have a little bit more time left here. So, what else do we really want to tackle here before we kind of end this off?
Honestly, everything went well. I feel like I could have spoke more about like the damaging effects, especially like on athletes. And it's noticeable but unnoticeable at the same time if you know what I'm trying to say.
I feel that one.
Like from my personal experience, right? I want to say I'm not talented enough to where I should be smoking nicotine or cigarettes or stuff like that and thinking that I can still be a great athlete. And that's the mentality that most of these athletes have. And it doesn't matter how talented you genuinely are, you're destroying your body day by day smoking things like this. Like, it makes no sense for someone to have the skills, the inclination to do what you're able to do and throw it all away just to feel some type of way, just to feel good, high. And that feeling doesn't last forever. If anything, I feel like it allows you to become more stressful. And that's me personally, that's what happened to me. When I want to say 19, turning 20, I genuinely wasn't aware of like stress, you know? Like I thought like anxiety, depression, I thought that was fake, right? Until I started smoking nicotine. And then one day, like one faithful day, bro, I just started smoking it too much. And out of nowhere, like I just felt my heart race. I felt like I started quivering, like shaking, like talking to people. I was like, why? Like, what's going on with my body? Like, this has never happened to me before. And like, that's when like, you know, I genuinely just became aware of like, wow, like this causes stress, like this causes anxiety. And
sometimes you might not experience it not smoking the product, but smoking the product will get you there. You might not think you suffer from any kind of stress or you think you're too. So for some people, you think, oh, you're bigger than that. You're stronger than that. You're not going to be affected by that. That's weak. But these products can bring that out of you, and it is not helpful, especially within athletes too that need to focus on their bodies, need to focus on their careers. If they're going to take this athlete path, how are they going to do it if they're constantly stressed out? They're constantly burnt out like that.
Right. It takes your mental and physical endurance away, genuinely.
So I think, and I'm not no savior, but I use my platform every day that I possibly can to promote not the end, but definitely like reducing. I don't want people to stop doing something because I told them to do it. That's not how life works. That's never how life should work, and how you should hold yourself accountable to that. But one thing I want to do is teach people, nurture people, tell them there's a better way. You're not stuck. You're not confined to just this, and you're not living just because you're doing that. There's different ways you can do it. There's not just one way to life. Your life will never be just one path, and you have to follow that path just because someone said you have to. Your path is a bunch of branches that you walk down a path. There's 3 different pathways to walk. Right. Which one are you going to choose?
You find your own way.
Find
your own way.
Damn right.
Hashtag
But what's it called? I don't know. I just don't agree with you're confined to one thing. I think you're confined to whatever the hell you want to be confined to. You're confined to whatever you put yourself to. If you put yourself on a higher pedestal, that's even better for you. Now you're shooting for something higher. You're playing for something higher. You're working for something higher. If you put yourself super low, you're not going to get to where you should be. And I think priorities are another. People get people's priorities straight. And just like you're leading your future. If you did have kids in the future, would you want your kids to end up like you where you are right now? Are you going to nurture someone to get where you want to be? Are you going to teach your future generation to get where you are now? Or are you going to stay low and not contribute?
No, I'm going to teach them to go for more.
Damn right.
A lot more than what I can do.
I love this applause, man.
And like I already believe like I can do a lot with my life. Like I'm still young, you know. I'm dreaming and working towards more. So if that's what I can do, hey man, my children gonna be dogs, man. Genuinely, like they're gonna be great. They will be great.
I think this pushing the future generation, man. Like like you said, I think more awareness should go into get them into the middle schools, get them into elementary, not just a cute little health class telling you, yeah, this will happen to you, breathing will be difficult, different kind of diseases will come with it, sure, or illnesses. Push that forward, push that more. Yeah, you should learn more about the body, but that's what you got. That's what you got high school for. You got high school health for that. You got college health for that. You got all these different kind of outlets for that. Push the more dramatic, the serious ones that need that coverage. It's an ill-covered topic that needs to change. That's another issue out of the thousands, like I just said before. That's another issue we need to touch right there. Just because you say don't do it, this is why, that's how. No. Why does it do it like that? Why is this happening to you like that? The stress, where is that coming from? Like, that's stuff that should be taught, not beat around the bush around. That's not something you beat the bush around. That's something you actually need to go into, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't teach health. I don't know if that's super hard, but I don't think a little baby step that way, maybe a little man step that way wouldn't hurt anybody.
I believe that it is being taught that way, in some cases, but we're stubborn. Human beings are just stubborn. There's a few people that live by the words of other people. Like people have to experience things for themselves for them to understand certain things, And so, that's human beings' downfall, but at the same time it makes us stronger. It makes us knowledgeable, So with that being said, it's like we can give as much advice as we want, but it's up to us to decide whether or not we want to be better for ourselves, if we want to do better for ourselves. So I just want to say that we just need to give people more goals, give people more things to strive for, and that will allow them to do better for themselves and not, lash out or latch on to, things that are destroying their bodies.
Live with confidence for yourself. Right. I agree with that heavily, and that's a great way to end this thing. So, that was Fernando and Givel, and you did a good job, man.
Thank you, bro.
first time doing a podcast like this.
Of course. Yeah.
Give him a round of man. Clap that up for my man. But no, I really enjoyed this episode. We did a really good job. I think you did a good job just telling us from a different point of view. We always try to talk about getting it reduced within youth, but we're not talking about people who can buy the product. How does it affect them or their peers around them or people younger than them? Do you have any siblings by any chance?
Yeah, I do.
Like, would you want that going on to them? Like, that's like...
No, not at all.
I love just getting different perspectives. I like that we touch out of just Massachusetts itself. Yeah. I think touching over different states that don't have as many strict law, or even then are more strict, I think that's something we can also implement here. Nothing too crazy.
And I'm so sorry for cutting you off, but I feel like the most depressing perspective is a lot of people just want to die. Like people don't care how they live anymore, and they just do whatever to to literally just end themselves. And it's sad. It's really just sad. So,
but yeah, that's why we're building people right back up where they need to be. Not like we said on a lower pedestal. Put yourself to something higher.
They need something to live for.
Every human being could be something if they wanted to. And if you choose not to, unfortunately to say, that is on you. You gotta live up to where you're at, and as long as you can push yourself to be that good and be where you're supposed to be, you have no issues with it. You shouldn't have any issues getting there. Right. I mean, no, sorry, getting there's gonna be an issue. That's an issue itself. You want to shoot for the stars. You better be ready to shoot for them damn stars. But just be ready.
Right.
Be ready.
Be ready.
Your life isn't confined to just one thing. It's multiple different things.
All right.
But that is us, and I hope you guys stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
Enjoy.
Peace out.